Hi everyone, Stepan here with another game, another d4 game. Last game I lost, I had the black pieces. In fact, I lost last 2 games with black and I think I won the last 4 with white, if I'm not mistaken. Why did I play in the London? I didn't mean to play the London. There's always an opening you play automatically. So for me, with black it's the Caro-Kann, with white it's the London system. Yeah, now we have the London, so let's play it. I'll try to play a good game. I will try to get to 2400. That's my goal until the end of this year. So I have about a month left, something like that, a bit more. We will see. I'm gonna need a streak of wins to do that. My opponent is playing sort of the main line unless he goes bishop d6 and queen c7. Okay, it's gonna be the main line. Now bishop d6, bishop g3 castles, bishop d3. Unless he wants to do something weird. I don't know what. I've faced bishop e7 before, and that's about it. Knight h5 doesn't really work. Queen b6 is possible, but it's not as good because after c4 I have queen c2, there is no bishop f5. Okay, bishop e7 is slightly strange, I have to say. So I'm gonna go bishop d3, and after castles I'm gonna go knight e5. Similar plan to what you do with the bishop on d6, but now black doesn't have firm control over the e5 square. Okay, now I could castle, I could also go knight e5, but after I castle I'm afraid of knight h5 and bishop g3 and takes. So, well actually, okay, I'm going knight e5. That's more active because now knight h5 has been prevented. I have the queen here. If black takes, I take with the pawn, of course. And black is faced with the problem of this bishop. So there are a couple of ways to untangle. Knight to d7 is normal, followed by knight f3, and then if f6, I can trade one of the knights. That's one way, so f6, e5. Alternatively, b6, I really don't think is as good. Queen b6, nah, I can just go rook b1. I mean, there's no reason for me to do anything irrational. If the bishop cannot come down to this diagonal, I don't really have to go queen b3. Obviously, I don't want to trade queens. I want to go queen f3, queen h3, bishop g5, and checkmate. Or queen f3, queen h3, knight g4. That's also very scary. No queen trades. Yeah, the London, whatever you may have heard, is an attacking opening, and with these 2 bishops on the diagonals, it can get quite risky for black, since black is virtually a bishop down out of the opening. We'll see what he does. For those of you who've been asking, my next tournament is at the beginning of January. I took a break to train my tactics and to get some real life stuff sorted out. So January 3rd is round 1. It's in the eastern part of Croatia. There's a bird on my balcony again. For some reason, there are a ton of birds this November. Okay, takes. I'm gonna take. Now if he takes on e5, I take with the bishop, because I don't want to open up his queen. This still doesn't help the bishop on c8, so nothing much has changed except for the fact that I have rook e1, e3, and coming to the king side. Okay, now I could consider queen h5 straight away, and if queen h5, then g6, knight takes, let's say f takes, bishop takes, h takes, queen takes. Do I have enough pieces? I don't think so. So I could just ignore this, or I could go knight f3 or queen h5. So let's have a look. Queen h5, g6 forced. Queen, let's say h6. Knight e5. d5. It will be really tough for him to play f6 at any point, because I can go bishop g6 check, or bishop g6, sorry, threatening mate. I really don't want to go knight f3, blocking in my queen. So queen h5, g6, queen h6, knight e5, d5. If f6, bishop takes g6, hg6, queen g6 check, king h8 is forced. And then I still need to get my rook in there. I may not be in time to do that. But I'm still going queen h5 before knight f3. Even if I don't sacrifice material immediately, this seems good enough. I mean, he could go knight back to f6, of course, but then my queen is coming to h3 straight away. Good, good. Queen h3. Now I'm threatening knight g4. And if he takes, I take with the pawn and win. He should have gone g6. Now he is probably close to losing, if not losing. I don't see what he does to prevent knight g4. And I have a free attack because I'm, again, pretty much a piece up. The bishop on c8 isn't participating. To be honest, neither is my rook on h1, but neither is his rook on a8. He could consider h6, but that seems extremely scary. I don't know what he does. g6 now? Well, he should have played it on the last turn. Okay, now I feel like I don't need to rush anything. I could just castle here, get my rook into play, or I could consider bishop h6. What's his next move gonna be? I don't know. I'm just gonna castle. That seems safe. No need to risk anything. His bishop is stuck on c8. and knight h5. What does knight h5 do? Why couldn't I just go bishop h6? Knight h5. I like bishop h6, I don't see anything wrong with it. And then g4. I mean, why not? I have to be slightly worried about playing f4 because he has knight takes e5. The pawn is pinned. Knight g7. Okay. So not f4, that loses a piece. Rook b1 loses a pawn. I like king h1. King h1 on f6 I definitely take. On knight f5 I take. I could also get my last piece into play and go knight f3. That seems the most reasonable way to play this. Knight f3, f6. Knight takes g6. H takes g6. Bishop takes g6. Threatening bishop g7, so he probably plays rook f7, but then I take it. That seems good enough. Yeah, I'm going knight f3. Bringing my last piece into play. Still playing against his bishop. If he wishes to trade the c6 knight, that's fine. Oh, he could have f6, e5. f6, knight g6, e5, knight e7 check, but f6, knight g6, hg6, bishop g6, e5. How do I save my pieces? I can go queen g3. Yeah, I can go queen g3. And then if e4, I have bishop h7 check, king h7, queen g7 mate. Yeah, that works. I did not expect this, and I'm not afraid of this. This seems very loose. I don't think I have any killing blows here. I think I just improved my pieces, like Rook Fe1 seems normal, targeting the newly created weakness. I don't want to waste too much time on my decisions. My rook on the f-file is now pretty much dead. I don't want to trade pieces with knight g5 or bishop g5. On knight h5 I have g4. I was expecting f6, not f5. The question is still, how does his bishop get out? Okay, he wants to go queen d8 and bishop d7. That's fine. Also controlling g5, so preventing knight g5 or bishop g5. If I go rook e3, he has f4. If I go queen g3, he has knight h5. How about king h1 g4? I like king h1. I want to see what he does. He cannot go bishop d7, bishop e8 because I take on c6 and then take on e6, or on c6, on g7 and on e6. I'm going to leave myself the option to go g4, and I'll also plan to double my rooks on the e file. And I would also like to go c4, undermining his structure and getting my bishop to the a2 g8 diagonal, making it better. c4 looks interesting. Maybe I could have played it last turn. So in order to play c4, I'm gonna have to defend my d-pawn some more. Okay, so rook bd1. I want to go c4 and free up my bishop. He may wish to take with the knight. I take, and he goes bishop g5. We will see. Strategically, I'm definitely better, but I don't see a mating attack, so I'm trying to switch plans to something long-term, which is playing c4. Okay, so not playing for bishop g5. If I go c4 now, he has knight b4. If I go bishop f4, he goes knight h5. So what if I go a3 and then c4? That seems interesting. I'm gonna go a3. I want to prevent knight b4 and go c4. Okay, c4. Wait, c4, dc4, bishop c4. Knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes. He takes the bishop. My queen is definitely offside. So let's get the queen back into play. I'm gonna have to trade off a pair of knights. So I'm gonna take on c6. If queen takes, then knight e5. Seems okay. I'm gonna trade once. I need to be able to move my queen somewhere. Takes with the pawn. Okay. If I go b4, trying to prevent c5, he has a5. I don't like allowing a5. Okay, I'm going knight e5. It's still tough for him to move the bishop because I take on g7 and take on e6. And now I want to double on the e file. Okay. I'm looking at queen f3, threatening rook takes d5, e takes d5, and queen takes d5 check, king h8, queen a8. Because he cannot move the bishop, I take the rook. Queen f3, if he takes on d4, I just take back with the pawn, that's fine. Yeah, but I would have to take the knight first, because he has bishop e6 in the end if I do it now. So I take on g7. If queen g7 it works, if king g7 it doesn't work. Okay, now it doesn't work. Okay, let's just save my rook. I don't want my rook hanging in any position. There still may be some tricks with this. He doesn't have bishop b5 because I take on g7, take on e6. If he moves the rook, I will consider taking on g7 because he has knight e8, knight d6, knight e4. But I don't really want to give up my dark squared bishop. His king is very weak. But if he plays, for example, okay, not that, but I was thinking queen b6, then I can take. Okay, I'm guessing I have to go b4 here. Okay, I'm going b4. If queen c3, I can go bishop g7 and rook d5. Oh no, I cannot. Because the king isn't on a light square anymore. But I can go rook d5 and rook e7. Takes, takes, and then check. Oof, there are many tactics here. Okay. I was thinking I could take on a6 here. Is there anything wrong with that? So I take on a6, he takes on d4. I take on g7. Could I take on g7 first? Okay, bishop g7, king g7, rook d5, e d5, rook e7 check, rook f7. No, it doesn't work. I'm not winning the queen. Because I don't have a good check with my bishop. Maybe I can just go queen e3 here. Trying to figure out rook d5. But I don't think I have enough. Okay, so I'm just gonna take. I don't see anything better, so I'm taking. I don't think rook d5 worked. We're gonna check it out, but I don't think it worked. She has rook f7 and bishop e6. It will work if he plays rook a8, but he doesn't play rook a8. Okay, now my rook is kind of misplaced. I need to get my rook back into play. Okay, I'm gonna go rook e3. I want to defend my a pawn, and I want to be able to go rook c3. And I need a diagonal for my bishop to retreat on. Like if he plays rook a8, I want to be able to go bishop f1. This did not turn out the way I'd expected. Okay, so I just retreat my bishop. Yeah, no reason to go b5 here, I feel. I want to go rook c3, rook c1. He stopped it. So then let's go bishop f4 and get to the dark squares. So bishop f4, bishop e5 seems reasonable. Maybe even bishop d6. Okay. Get your queen out of there. Now, can I challenge the c3 square finally? I think I can. But he's gonna go rook c8. I don't like that. I'm still going rook c3, and I'm going to take with the bishop and go queen e3, queen e5. Ah no, if I take with the bishop, he didn't take. If I had taken with the bishop, he had rook a3 there. I don't know what knight h5 does, so I'm just going to ignore it and double up. Okay, I just win a piece here. I win a piece if he takes with the rook. I go rook c8, rook c8, rook c8, bishop c8, queen c3. So he has to take with the bishop first. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Board geometry. I mean, he has no dark squares. That's the problem. Eventually, I think I'm winning even if he doesn't blunder a piece. I have 2 connected passed pawns. Okay, let's take. There's no way he can survive. I'm just controlling the entire board with my 1 bishop, and his bishop has no squares. Yeah. Okay, definitely not an easy game. Let's see. Okay, so bishop e7 is the first strange move, which is more passive than bishop d6, but okay. Knight e5, rook b1, takes. This position I already don't know. I think white should be better. Yeah, white is better. Knight d7, queen h5 is fine. He had to go g6 here. After this and queen h3, yeah, I probably missed a lot of chances. This is, I actually know this pattern. I know a position which is very similar to this. It's just that the bishop is on d6. And I know that white is much better. Okay, g6. Castles is fine, although bishop h6 was better. Knight h5, bishop h6, knight g7, f4. I'm stupid. f4 does not lose a knight because I take with the f pawn. I'm an idiot. I'd have another defender. Yeah, I shouldn't. I just discarded that. Okay, but I played knight f3, which is fine. f5, rook fe1 is correct. Queen d8, king h1 is fine. Although the engine likes queen g3, rook e2, b4, knight c6. Okay. A bit of shuffling. I never had c4 because of this. He takes on d4, takes dc4, and then if I take with the bishop, he takes on e5. Wait, this works? Wait, how does this work? Ah, because I check. Oh, okay, rook c1, and if he moves the bishop, I check and win the queen. Okay, but I took on c6, which is fine. Knight e5, not precise. I should have gone b4, but what happens on a5? I just ignore it. I go g3, and then takes, and rook c3, rook a3. I was afraid of this. Well, I guess I can do this, and then this is dominating the board. That seems okay. Knight e5 is not bad. c5 is fine. Queen f3 is a mistake. I should have gone queen e3. This is the pattern I was looking at. So let's say takes, and queen b6. I was thinking I could do something like this, but not really, because his king isn't on a light square anymore. And if I don't take there first, then he has bishop e6. Okay, and queen b6 was a bad example, but if the queen had got somewhere else, he would have still had bishop e6 because the knight covers. Okay, bishop d7, rook d1. First serious mistake. I should have gone c4. c4, and he cannot take. He can take. No, he cannot take. He takes on d4. Okay, bishop takes, king takes. What? Queen e2. Okay, and then the idea is just to take and weaken this pawn. Yeah, c4, I had the idea to go c4, but I could never make it work. Now I have 2 connected passed pawns, so it means that it should be much better for me. Bishop c1 was best, that makes sense. I make the battery in reverse immediately. Okay. b5 was better. Okay, bishop f4 is fine. Finally getting to the dark squares. Okay, what happens on rook c3? That's what I'm wondering. I take with the queen. If he goes rook c8, yeah, I just go queen b2. Yeah, okay. Knight h5 here. And then he had to take with the bishop. If he doesn't take with the bishop, he loses a piece. So when he does take with the bishop, I go queen c3, he saves the knight. And now I just push my pawns. Yeah, this bishop is too strong. There's just no way to fight against this. And once he takes with the rook, this is it. Queen c3. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm happy I won. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye bye.